morning to all of you. At this time, we will call the West Memphis Utility Commission meeting and look at item number 1, approval of the minutes. We have 2 things we should note, and that's in the attendance. If you would remove, yes, Mr. Holmes and Mr. Smith. Okay. And can I get a motion to accept the minutes with those corrections?
So move.
A second?
I second.
Okay, that's been moved by Mr. Smith and second by Ms. Robinson that we accept May's minutes. No, the minutes for April 10th. I better get my mind together. All in favor? Okay. Okay, we have a second set of minutes to approve, and these from the special meeting April 17th. Can we get a motion to approve these minutes?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we have, the minutes have been approved by Mr. Smith, the second by Ms. Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes approved. Okay, we're going to actual second item, is April safety report.
Hi, good morning all. Carlos is actually at a training, so I'm gonna present his safety report for April. It's not been a lot of change, as far as the numbers. We've just increased some days since the last recordable to 213, and days without a lost time injury is now at 220. We still have goose eggs for the year and recordables and incident rate, which is good. Yes, the monthly safety meeting was over motor vehicle safety, and not gonna sit here and read all this. I think I've presented several in the past about our motor vehicle safety, and a lot of it has to do with being a defensive driver, and distracted driving being one of the main causes that creates problems with you know, driving, even as so much as listening to the radio, drinking coffee, eating a sandwich, whatever. Talking to someone in the car is distracted driving. But some of the safety tips there about activities, engaging in activities, and cell phones, eating. Defensive driver, you need to be thinking about the other drivers around you and their next moves, and how finally you're an out to be able to keep from being in a situation. And then, of course, being impaired by alcohol or being fatigued or anything also contributes to accidents. And one of the main things is wearing your seatbelt at all times. Statistics have proven that wearing a seatbelt as opposed to not will save lives. So, are there any questions on that topic for safety?
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, on our third item is the financial report.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Alright, so we are looking at the month of April. Our electric revenue came in to be 10 million. Water revenue was 1.2 million. Sewer revenue was 1.4 million. You can go to the next slide. Our April expenses were 1.2 million, bringing us to a total of 4.7 million for expenses. Other income was 125,000, and our net profit is 8.1 million. Lastly, our financial ratios. For April, our days cash on hand was 88 days compared to 92 in the previous month. Fixed charge coverage was 1.19, previous month was 1.45. Gross margin ratio was 25% compared to 50% the previous month. Operating margin ratio was 18.11% compared to 32.83. Current ratio was 29.49 compared to 25.84. And our debt service coverage ratio was 0.35 compared to 0.76. So we did trend down a little bit. Yeah, that's all I have. Any questions?
Do you have any indications as to what the slight trend down was related to? Was there a one-time payment the month before?
I want to say that we had a significant increase in the purchase power for that particular month. Yeah, it was like 8, think about it, it's like, 800 something thousand. I didn't bring that particular sheet with me,
Sure.
but almost double what it was in October.
So we just spent a little bit more money? Okay. No concerns though that we're permanent trending in the wrong direction?
Oh, no, not at all. And then, like I said, I wish we could get this caught up. You know, we're in May now, we're looking at November of last year, but, yeah, I don't see any real issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 4, the staffing report.
All right, that's me again. We've not had a significant change other from the previous month's report, except that we have had some interviews. We had interviews for the wastewater superintendent that got disrupted by the flooding, and they've been rescheduled. We've gotten through about half. We need to reschedule some more. Robin's agendas have been full, trying to get these things scheduled back, but we're working on getting that position filled. We still have 5 openings in the electric, 3 in the water, and the 1 in environmental quality. So we should be ramping up on interviewing and getting prospective candidates in, trying to get some folks hired and getting them to work. Any questions? Thank you.
I'm just excited to see 0 under engineering department. That used to be an area
Yes.
where we didn't have enough people. Thank you so very much. Okay, we're down to number 5, and it's cured in place sewer repair project.
So in your package, you'll see the bid tabulation sheet, and so to just refresh everyone's memory, so the cure in place is the last part of our corrective action plan for our collection system. So if you remember, we had our corrective action plan approved by the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality, and there were 3 parts to that. So one was the upgrade and expansion of our wastewater treatment plant, which we're fully engaged in now. 2 was the rebuild and remodification of our lift stations, and then the 3 was the upgrades of our collection system. There were different components of our upgrades to our collection system. There were the point repairs, the manhole rebuilds, and then the last thing is the cure in place. And what the cure in place is where the pipe is deteriorated enough, they go on the inside, instead of us digging the pipe up, they put a coating on the inside of the pipe, which returns the integrity of that pipe back to where it was when it was new. So it saves us a lot of expense from having to dig that pipe up and replace it, but it also improves the quality of the collection system, and that pipe's going to flow and it's not going to degrade any further. We our anticipation was that we were gonna spend $6.5 million on this. So you can see that the bids came in a lot lower than we anticipated. And so the bid that's in front of you from Hemp Hill Construction, that was our low bid. And so the ask is that the commission approve acceptance of that low bid, and so that we can proceed with our Cure in Place program. It's gonna take us 2 years to get through. We have about 20 miles of pipe to do all across the city. And then there were a couple of other areas that we identified in this last flood that are leading to significant problems at our wastewater treatment plant that we're gonna go ahead and do while they're in here. But it is a 2-year project at that, just under $4 million. So that's it. Any questions about it before we ask for approval?
Any questions? Okay, no questions. We're asking the committee to approve the recommended project bid done by Hemp Hill Construction. Can we get a motion to accept it?
So move.
A second? A second?
Second.
Okay. It has been moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. Hayes to accept the bid made by Hemp Hill Construction. All in favor? Motion passed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, 6th item, East Barton Tank Project update.
Nope, everything's okay.
Okay.
So, you may have, we put this out to bid, earlier in the year, and it was approved that we were gonna repaint. We're gonna have, the East Barton and the Worthington tanks, repaired and repainted this year. They started working on the East Barton tank. You may have noticed all of the stuff sticking off of it when you drive on the interstate and look over at it. That is their like casing system for when they put up their tarps for when they start sandblasting that and painting it so that all the stuff doesn't get over there. They've got that up and they've worked on repairs. Right now they are working on the sandblasting and repainting of the interior of the tank. So unfortunately I can't really show you what they're working on right now. But these are what are supposed to go up on the tank after they are done, the 2 logos. I've been assured by the contractors that they're supposed to be done with East Barton by the end of May, that they've said they will be able to finish. We've had a couple issues with them and storms, but they said they're on track to finish. And then they'll start Worthington tank in the fall.
And that's due to demand on the water system. It's kind of like the same thing with our substations with the electricity. We have certain times of the year that the demand is low enough that we're able to do maintenance and work, and spring and fall is when we have to deal with the water tanks. Kind of demand for both, really. Water and electric is kind of down both at those times, and that's when we have to schedule work. So yeah, they're doing both of them this year. Get this one knocked out, and we'll rotate around and utilize this tank as it's been rehabbed and painted to take another one out of service. So that's kind of how that's working.
I guess if we consider the summer months with people using more water with the
Yes,
pool and outside.
yes.
things
The
like
demand
that.
goes way up
Yeah.
in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to take the tank out of service, drain it completely, and then they do all their work. So we had inspections on them 3 or 4 years ago, something like that.
Oh, no,
That's right,
what was that?
2 years ago.
That was
About these ones are actually from like
23.
2024 or 2023
Yeah.
that we have these ones
Yeah.
and stuff.
2 years ago. And so they're going through and they're making all the repairs. They came back on the inspection report, and then the last thing would be to paint it. And so we anticipate that we'll get another 20 to 30 years of life out of this rehab on that tank. So it's like changing the oil in your car. The more maintenance that you do on it, the longer that you can expect that it will work. This one's one of our smaller tanks, but if you remember, and we haven't released the young woman's name, but the logos in the design for what was going on in the tank was one of the art department at the high school came up with that, both the Worthington tank and the Barton tank, this tank here. So students at the high school came up with those designs. So, but there's a lot of activity going on with it now, and then like Brett said, we'll put this one back in service. They'll have to sanitize it and do everything to put it back into service, and then once it's back in service and we have the water quality in the fall, we'll take Worthington out. Everybody know where the Worthington tank is?
I think so.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, once a Blue Devil, always a Blue Devil. We'll see. Wow. Okay, item 7, R3 update.
Is there a slide on that, Brett?
No, there's not. So I think it's been spoken about in one of the previous meetings last month, maybe even March, that the utilities is embarking on trying to get designation from American Public Power Association and their Reliable Public Power Provider Program, which is RP3. It is a distinction, a certification. It's a 3-year. It runs 3 years. Once you get it, and it's something that can go right along beside your company name that lets prospective businesses, companies, anyone that's interested know that you're meeting certain standards on a national level of for your utility, for the power. It's a dedication to operating efficient, safe, and reliable distribution system is kind of what it's showing. And May 1st was 2025's application, beginning of application period, and new application. We have been gearing up with the old 2024s, trying to get prepared, get our questions together that we may have to ask, figuring out what processes we already have in place, what we're lacking and we're going to be short on. We have to make up some differences there, create some things to be able to apply and try to get the most points. There's a platinum, diamond, and gold. And that's the only 3 designations you can get. So you have to, the gold, you have to be at least 80% on 100 points. And over these 4 topics, reliability, safety, workforce development, and system improvement is all equal 25% on the scoring. So we've got to score at least an 80 on it, and I think we're real close. I think we're real close. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got our leadership team divided up. They've all taken one of the 4 topics, and then some of them are doubled up on it, working on it, and we're compiling information, putting it all together, and excited to be able to apply this year. It's something that we've wanted to do for a while, and it's just taken we're gonna have to just knuckle down and do it and get it done. If we get the designation, I know we will, we'll have to re-up every 3 years, but once we get this process in place, it should be fairly easy to just keep up with it and continue on with it and maybe improve and get even a higher designation out of this. But this is a good thing for the utilities. It's recognized in the industry. Out of about 2,000 municipal utilities in the United States, there's only about 215 that have this designation, and only 2 in the state of Arkansas. Conway Corp and Hope, Arkansas We're the only two. We're hoping to be the third one on the map on the state of Arkansas. We'll put that number 3 on there. So it's good stuff coming ahead with that. And like I said, something else is bringing the leadership team together, and we're all working on a big project together. So it's all good stuff.
Brett,
Yes.
what's our current score?
We've not
We don't have one.
We've not tallied it up to see, and so they have a panel that's made up of industry experts. We actually have connections with folks in Conway that are on the RP3 panel. As a medium-sized utility, one of their employees is on the panel, and he's offered, Conway's been great, they've offered to help us answer questions, make sure that when we apply, we're applying with the most complete information that we can to get the most amount of points out of the scoring from the panel. But as far as the score yet, I know we've got a lot of work to do. We've got until the end of September to submit this application. So this summer, our leadership team is going to be busy. We've got a lot of things to work on. A lot of it, we already do some of this stuff. It's just we don't have it documented. And that's the biggest thing, is that the documentation is what they're going to want to have supplied with your application. So as far as the score though, I don't know where we're at. I could give you a good number that would sound good, but I don't know.
Right, well, I guess I'm just asking, sometimes when we know that 80 is the score, and we have a 72 or something, we know what we're actually working towards, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
So some of the things like Brett said, so reliability is one of them, and part of the reliability is collecting data when we have outages. So Eric, if you don't know Eric in the back here, Eric's collecting data each time we have an outage, and we're putting that into a database so that we can go back and we can look at, hey, this is, and notice trends, right? This is what caused this outage. This is what we need to do to prevent it in the future. Also, formalizing our storm plans, conducting disaster drills. It's stuff that we really need to be doing as a utility anyway, but this is helping to focus us and keep us, and like Brett said, to actually document what we're doing and have a written procedure, a written process about it. There's a lot of components about safety and ensuring that we have a certain amount of safety meetings, ensuring that a certain amount of topics are covered, that we have the most up-to-date safety manuals for our employees, stuff like that. And then also the workforce development side of it. So we're actively working on succession planning and leadership development, stuff like that. And that's all part of what's part of this designation. So like Brett said, when it's a big deal to get it, I fully anticipate that we'll be there. I mean, based on what we have collected thus far, we're right there. Now it's just a question of whether we'll be gold, platinum, or diamond. And so it's a good exercise for us to actually codify all the things that we're doing, but then to make sure that we're doing the right stuff.
What was the fourth one?
I'm sorry?
What was the fourth one?
System improvement.
System improvement. So that's, and that's going back and looking at, how can we ensure that the system is adequate to meet our future needs? We talk about like self-healing network, so distribution automation, where we put devices up that they sense a loss of current, and before we ever roll a truck, they'll close in or open up and restore power to our customers that can take power, and they'll isolate the section that's faulted. So we're moving forward in that direction as well. So we've made some upgrades on our SCADA system, and we're going to continue to operate in that manner and really improve the reliability for our customers. So it's a reliable public power provider, but we're also applying the same things that we're doing on our electric system to our water system as well. So trying to bring both of those systems up to a level of where they're performing optimally for our customers.
Are there any other questions? Any concerns? Okay. All right then.
Thank you.
Oh. Item 4, approve funding for the Mirror Summer Job Program.
So is everyone familiar with the summer job program here in West Memphis? Well, we're trying to expand it this year. And one of the things that we're going to be doing with the expansion, if you remember, the utility partnered with the fire department last year, and they painted a bunch of the fire hydrants across the city. One of the challenges that the fire department has is like private hydrants, they have a hard time telling the difference. And where that becomes a challenge for our fire department is we do not maintain private hydrants, and the owners of the hydrants don't always maintain them either. A good example is the Awesome Products fire. Everybody remembers the fire over here on 7th Street. The fire department hooked onto, I think it was 3, wasn't it? 3 private hydrants that didn't work before they got to one that did work. So one of the things that we're going to be doing this year with our summer jobs program is we're partnering again with the fire department, and like all private hydrants, we're going to paint them a different color. We're going to paint them blue. So the city's fire hydrants will be red and the private hydrants will be blue. That way the fire department will know immediately, hey, that's a private hydrant, we probably need to go over here first. So we're looking for, the ask is that the commission approves the finance director to move $30,000 out of interest income accounts over to fund an expansion of the summer jobs programs where these kids can go out. So it's a benefit because, when the kids are idle, they can get into trouble, they can do things. And so this is a good opportunity for them to learn some useful skills about being in the job market, but also earn a little bit extra money. And then it's going to benefit the utility because we're going to get some maintenance done on some of our infrastructure as well. So the ask is for the commission to approve a transfer of $30,000 out of our interest income into the summer jobs program.
Okay. Can we get a motion to move $30,000 out of our interest account to the city's account?
It'll go into the general fund.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Ms. Robinson and second by Mr. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So we did have, I think Mayor told me there's 60 kids that apply. So a lot of interest, a lot of kids. We've had a lot of kids that come back last year, so they're juniors and seniors. They only work 4 hours a day. They come in the morning, but it's and they pay them a decent wage. I'm trying to remember do you remember what they pay them? It's like $18 an hour or something like that. It's a good wage that they pay them, and so it's a good opportunity for them. So thank you for helping to make it a success.
Okay, do we have anything else before us? Okay, can we get a motion to adjourn? Second, can we get a second? Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. Hayes that the commission meeting be adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.